A very useful way to handle particularly more complex regular expressions is the use of groups. Groups are a way to organize patterns into parts and are indicated by parentheses. So again, parentheses in this case are some kind of meta characters that are used to indicate a group. And even if you use groups in your regular expression, then still the whole expression must match. But the groups are captured individually. And this can be very useful in practice. And we see some examples. And also important to know in practice that groups can be nested. And when it comes to the order of the groups, it depends in which order the groups were opened. So for example, this would be group 1, this would be group 2, this would be group 3 and group 4. Because groups are numbered, and we will also see examples why this is a very useful thing in practice. But first, let's look at very basic examples how we can use groups in practice. So here, for example, what we're trying to do is we want to match all the email addresses, but we want to match email addresses in such a way that we explicitly match the username and the domain of the email address individually. Because this can be very useful then for further pre-processing, that we say, okay, we only consider usernames for any kind of additional analysis. So what we can do here is, we have, in this case, it's a very simple way to try to find email addresses. So we match one or more letters, digits, underscores, and periods. This can be an arbitrary number, but at least one. This is for domain and for username, but they must be concatenated essentially via this @ symbol, which roughly speaking forms an email address. But we do so by matching the username part into a group. So this will be our group 1, and in our domain group. In both cases we use parentheses. So overall we still match the whole email address. So all the parts have to match, the whole expression must match, so there's no change. But now we have access to these individual groups. And based on which group was opened first is the group number 1, and the second one would be group number 2, which in this case would be exactly the username and the domain. And now we have quick access to the individual parts of our matches and can be used for further analysis. A straightforward extension to groups is what is called back references. And this allows us to reference groups within a regular expression. And the most common example is to use this to find repeated patterns. And so let's jump directly to the example. Here we have the sentence, my mom said I need to pass this test. And let's say our goal is to find all the words that start and end with the same letter. And here basically this is a viable solution that solves this task. Right? So we have first our word boundaries. Usually they are there to make our life easier because we say find all the words, right? Not just arbitrary substrings. It has to be a fixed word. So we use these word boundaries. Then we just match any kind of letter. We don't care. Any kind of lowercase or uppercase letter. Then we can have an arbitrary number of other kinds of letters. And in this case, we also allow digits and underscores, right? Because again, just to clarify, this is exactly the same as using this character class, lowercase letters, digits, underscore, and with an arbitrary number. But you can see with the shorthand notation, it's much easier to read. But now comes the interesting part. Now we make a back reference. And recall that our groups are numbered. And since we have this outer group, so this is basically group number 1. So this will be group number 2. And here we make a back reference to group number 2, which simply means that whatever group 2 was matching must match here again. And since outer group 2 was any arbitrary lowercase uppercase letter, we say, okay, the word must end with the same lowercase and uppercase letter. Which exactly works for mom and test, because these are the two words that start and end with the same letter. And as usual with the groups, we have access to the individual parts, not just the whole matching string.